Welcome to Lighting the Way. Granny raps and rocks.
She sure does. And this is James Maynard, otherwise known as Sweet Baby James. I'm handling the chat, so please chat with us. I'll pass it on to Beth, and she'll chat back at you.
Did I tell
Live
you?
in person.
Did I
Liberty.
tell you that I'm Beth Green, otherwise known as Granny Rocks?
You only told us you were Granny Rocks, but that's just your alias.
Oh, nothing wrong with me tonight. Anyway, I am Beth Green, and I am also known as Granny Rocks in certain circles. So, anyway, tonight we have a very exciting show, right? What I'm going to be talking about tonight is when are we being stopped by other people's needs and wants, and should we be? And what to do about it, and how do you even recognize whether we are?
Oh, that's
It's
a
a
good one.
pretty big topic,
So often
actually.
it happens you don't realize that it's going on.
That's right. So remember that if you aren't here live, I can't chat with you live, but I can always answer your comments, on the internet. So, folks, we have some.
We already have some comments. Tracy says, good evening. And she sends caring and love.
I
Thank
love
you,
that.
Tracy.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. So, it is so difficult for us to know ourselves, honestly, to even know what we are feeling, because we are so influenced by one another. If you're in a relationship with somebody, you may not even know that they're pulling on you to, oh, mommy, don't go to work, mommy, you know what I mean? It's like, do I really need to go to work, And I want to tell you a brief story. Oh, we have another hello.
Oh, Catalina says good evening and sends caring and musical notes and a sunshine.
Ooh, I'll take it.
Looks like a cat.
Well,
And her
sunshine.
nickname must be Cat.
What is sunshine? I don't think we know what sunshine is anymore. We're in Oregon. So, anyway, I want to tell you a very brief story. My mother and father both came from very poor families. Their parents were immigrants. Nobody in our family had any money-making talent, and they grew up in the Depression. So that ain't so great, right? So neither of them had much of an education. My father dropped out of high school in the 10th grade because he needed to help support the family, and my mother got a commercial diploma so she could go to work right away. And so neither of them really even had a high school diploma. So at a certain point in life, my mother decided she was going to go get a GED. 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 Those are the notes on the piano, GED. And so that was an education diploma, an equivalency a diploma. And she even started going to take some college courses. She must have been in her, 50s, 60s, I don't know. So that sounds cool, right? So my father used to drive her, and he would sit outside the classroom and wait for her. And he didn't really have to do that, did he?
I don't know.
No. Well, they had a schedule. He could have come back and gotten her. But no, he sat outside. And she said she was loving these classes, but in time, she just gave it up. Why? Because she couldn't stand the idea that my father had gone with her and was sitting out there feeling bad. Because he felt bad about himself, that he wasn't that well educated. And look,
And Todd says, hi there, Beth and James, and sends caring and love and caring.
Excellent. Thank you.
Todd.
So she quit very early in her college career. Now, should she have? You could say, well, he was sitting there, he was lonely, he felt bad, he didn't feel capable, he didn't have a GED, he couldn't go to college himself. He he might not have been able to get a GED. So anyway, so my mother just felt like it was just too painful for him. Now, is that true? Is that really what happened?
Is it?
Well, I'm not so sure. Maybe there were other reasons. Now, first of all, the way she posited it in her own mind, it was for him. It was because of him that she quit. But maybe she was scared of advancing in school. Maybe she didn't think she could make it. Maybe she was scared of his becoming resentful and sad and that she would lose something there emotionally.
And Elizabeth says hello and sends caring and love also. Thank you, Elizabeth.
So, thank you, Elizabeth. So there it is. Was she really using him as an excuse to quit? Or did she really want to do it and didn't? And if she really wanted to do it, was she being influenced by him or by his ego? Could she have said to him, you know, Frank, it's making me too uncomfortable to have you sitting there, and I'm going to feel like I'm going to have to quit, so would you please not do that? And I'll drive. So she must have been older because she didn't drive when we were children. Why? Probably because the only thing he had over her was that he drove. See? So he was the driver, and it made him feel important. And I mean, she loved him and all of that. But later on, when he started getting really sick, she learned how to drive because she had to keep going to the hospital. So somehow or other, she was capable of driving then, but she hadn't been capable of driving 20 years before. Are you catching my drift?
Yep.
So
She was very influenced by her husband.
she was very influenced by her concept of what he needed.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So now let's take an example too close to home.
Oh.
I'm pretty much housebound. What that means for you who aren't familiar with that expression, I don't go out hardly at all except to go to the doctor. And that's because I'm sick. And I've been sick all my life, so I've been housebound since 1983. And I have a husband who is not housebound. So let's say he wants to go to a movie out there. Not that he would dare to want to go to a movie. Or a concert or something like that. Now, do I want him to leave? No. Right? I want him to stay home with me.
And watch the movie at home.
And watch the movie at home. Or watch the group at home. Look at that.
Oh, Island is here, and she sends 2 hearts of love.
Oh,
Thank you, Island.
2 hearts
2
back
hearts.
to
Hey.
you. Thank you. So glad to see you. So, I honestly don't want him to leave. Yes, you know, he has to leave to shop or he has to leave to do other things for the family, but I don't want him to leave me alone, sad, forever. And not only that, then I get to feel like, oh, I can't do anything. I start feeling sorry for myself. You know what I mean? I'm blocked from. So he's being impacted. He's being controlled by my illness. Well, is it by my illness or is he being controlled by my emotions that don't want him to leave, because he could leave me for a few hours. I would probably survive.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I couldn't have a snack. Or, I mean,
Unless I laid it out for you before I left.
and he would do stuff like that. So I was going to leave for the whole day. He would have to leave me lunch, or, because I can't do anything physical myself. So was it right for him to not go do things? Now, what is the truth behind all of this? See, is he being controlled by my actual needs or my egoic needs?
Oh, that's a very
Right?
good question.
Right. Now, it goes the other way too. Let's say I'm making some progress in some field, and James is jealous. Now, he isn't going to tell me, don't do that, Beth. Oh, no. Because then I could say, what do you mean don't do that? No. What he can do, though, is put out these vibes like, and I'm an empath, I feel
Like in
everything.
music, supposing I'm competitive with you. and,
Supposing.
yeah.
On the off
that
chance.
could well
it
be.
could-
And so I'm putting out these vibes to keep you down at the level you are.
Exactly.
Closer to whatever level I'm at. And you feel suppressed, knocked out, and have a hard time with those headwinds.
That's
to make
right.
Progress.
In fact, it is so true that I don't even know it sometimes that I'm being influenced by his ego that doesn't want me to advance, because I'm so empathetic that I just feel like shut down. And I don't even realize that he's knocking me out, right? So this is a bigger topic than it may appear to be, because how much are we actually being influenced by each other's needs? Now, should he go to the movie or the concert without me? Should I continue to advance in music, get more instruments, develop myself? Not that I can do that much of that, because I have my own physical problems keeping me down, right? Now, if I don't do it, is it because I'm really scared myself and I'm using him as a way of blocking myself? Or is it just that I'm so impacted because he's withdrawn from me emotionally because he's mad, and I feel it and I'm in bed, because that's what happens to me. So there's so many things going on the unconscious level. So am I using him to stop myself, or is he really doing it to me? And then why would it impact me? Well, there's a couple of reasons. First of all, it could impact me because I really am scared myself. And it's like, oh, do I really want to do this? I'm sick. I'm tired. I don't really want to do that. Do I really? But it could also be that I don't want to hurt him. It could be that I'm dreading his reaction, like he's going to be mad, and so I rather suppress myself than have my husband be mad at me. Do you see how many levels this could be happening?
Well, this happens a lot in childhood, too. You don't want to make your parents mad, so you act in the ways that they want you to act, even though it's not natural to you, and you'd rather not.
Right, and that after a while you don't even notice it anymore. You think, and that's a very good point, you think you're doing what you want. Oh, yeah, I want to be a doctor. My father was a doctor. His father was a doctor. Of course, I can't stand the sight of blood, but I really want to be a doctor. Right?
Right.
Maybe I really don't want to be a doctor, but I don't even know myself that I'm acquiescing to my father wanting me to be a doctor. Or suddenly I'm feeling the urge to have children because all my friends have children. Do I really want to have children? Am I really fit? Okay, now you're probably wondering what to do about this. Or maybe you aren't wondering what to do about this. I want to come back to the question of when should you be impacted by what someone else needs
Or thinks they need.
or thinks they need. Now, there are times when James has left the house or he's gone to a concert or he's done something, but he doesn't leave me alone very much. But maybe that's because he would rather be with me. Maybe his ego is telling him that he has to go see this show because he's a happening guy. Or he thinks that just because I'm performing that he needs to perform too. Does he really need to perform, or is he doing it because he's competitive? Or, are you getting my drift, guys? Or are you drifting away? I hope you're not drifting away. So there is a concept that we use that is extremely helpful.
Yeah.
And that concept is the highest good of all. So what we do is we try to check in with our higher consciousness. If you're a spiritual person, you might say God, ask God, or just go into a meditative state, or check in with your body and ask yourself, is it for the highest good of all, for me, including me, for me to go to the movies tonight? Hell no. And why? Because you're happier when you're at home. Because you have a backache and you really don't want to sit in the theater. Because you're tired. Because you've actually seen it 3 times already. Or because that movie or that show is really not for your highest good. It's like violent and ego-based, and it wouldn't be good for you to watch. So you can see that maybe actually it isn't for his highest good to go to the movie, and it isn't even about whether or not he should leave me home. It's about whether it's right for him. And that's how you get past this problem, because otherwise it becomes you're stopping me, or I'm letting you stop me, or I don't even know that I'm letting you stop me, but it's your ego is stopping me. But when you're asking what is for the highest good, everything begins to change. You say, what is for the highest good of all, including me? So let's, I can think of a situation where, let's say he wants to travel. He can't travel unless we arrange for someone to take care of me, because I can't be left alone for more than a few hours at a time because I can't function on a physical level. So should he travel? Should he go see his daughter? Or should he stay home? And it always comes down to what is for the highest good of all. Well, how would you really do if you went off by yourself? You know, you have a few problems too. I don't want to say, but you have some problems. Or
I could get lost or confused.
He could. He could get lost and confused. I mean, I can't do anything physically, but, you know, he can get lost and confused. So maybe it isn't for his highest good to leave. So I want you to think for a moment about something where you, either in the past or in the present, where you've been thinking you really want to do something, but then you find yourself not doing it. Is it because you really are afraid? In which case, it's good to admit it. Or is it because you're being influenced by the so-called needs of another person? And is it something you really need to do? Because if it is, then you need to do it. And you do that because the second step is to support the other person, not their ego. For example, if it really is right for him to go somewhere, I have to be willing to be intervened with, that he is going to do it if we've checked in and it says, okay, it's for the highest good of all. I really need to do this. And then we have to confront me. What else could I be doing with that time when he's gone? Well, I have a lot of projects that I don't finish because he's so busy suppressing me. So it's perfect. James is out of the house. Now I can do all those things that I can't do when he's in the house because I'm so impacted by his consciousness. Isn't that wild?
Yeah, it is wild.
So, can you think of any situation that you're in? And are you willing to give it the test? Is it for instance, my mother could have asked, but of course she didn't even have this concept. She could have said, is it for the highest good of all, including me, for me to drop out of school? Well, maybe it was. Maybe she was getting frustrated. Maybe she was really getting anxious. Maybe she was too tired because she was still working. Or maybe it wasn't. And then she would have to talk to him and say, why are you sitting outside? It makes me self-conscious. Makes me not want to go. And then he'd give some kind of an excuse. Well, I love you and I'm concerned. And then she will be armed with the truth and say, it's not for the highest good of all. That means it's not for his highest good either. See, the concept is the highest good of all, including me and the other guy. So, for example, maybe it would have been for the highest good of all for my father to stay home and develop interests and hobbies of his own. Maybe it would have been for his highest good to see if he could go to school. Maybe it would have been for his highest good to realize that he didn't need to envy her, that he had his own good qualities, that he didn't have to be anything like her. So take a look at some situation you're in or have been in and ask yourself, is it for the highest good of all for me to do this? And even if your partner has physical issues or psychological issues, maybe they need to allow that there are other things that they can do and to confront their own feelings of being unvalued, right? So then that becomes an opportunity for growth for them. Or you may find out, I used to like doing that, but, I really don't want to do that anymore. I am more nurtured by staying at home with my partner than I am by running around out there. And that it is for my highest good because there is a connection that we have that I can't really just take for granted and that I really need and that it really helps me. And maybe I should stay home and I should be writing something or I should be cuddling with her.
Her or him?
Either one.
Either one.
I mean, but you're the one who would be going out. That it's really for your highest good to stay home and cuddle. Maybe you're a runner. You know what I mean? Maybe one of you is a runner and says, I can't sit still for 10 minutes, right? So you see, there are so many possibilities. But you have to be willing to ask the question. So, if you like this show or you think there was any value to it, send it on to your friends. Share it, share it, share it. Love it.
Give it a like or a love.
A like or a love. Leave a comment if you have not done so and if it's later. And come back next week, Wednesday, every Wednesday, lighting the way, Granny Raps and Rocks, every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific. We have another comment if you can read it.
Such a good question. Is it for the highest good?
Yes, and don't forget of all that, including me and you and everybody's, this relates to families as well. It's like, is it for the highest good of all for us to have another child? Is it for the highest good of all for us to paint this room green? It has to somehow be for everyone's highest good. So you say, oh, no, I hate the color green. Well, maybe it's time for you to get over hating the color green. Or maybe it shouldn't be green. So you see, there's no assumptions when you ask that question. And always support the person who might be disappointed, because it might help them to grow in some way as well. So what do you think of that? So follow this page, come back next week, and come tomorrow if you want to hear Magical Improvs, 7 p.m. Pacific time. I hope you got lots out of this show, and that you start to incorporate this question into your daily life, because you'd be amazed. Sometimes you think, oh, I need to go shopping now, and you're really running away from some responsibility, but you've got some excuse. Oh, I need to go shopping because I need this or that or the other thing, and it's like, no, is it really for the highest good of all, including you, to go shopping now? No, I'm just running. So you see, it uncovers a lot, and it looks
And
like
by the way, Island followed that up, and she said, yes, of all. The highest good
including
of
you,
all.
honey, including Island.
Yeah.
So I think that's it. So come back next Wednesday
Mhm.
for
Yeah.
our show. Pass on this show to others, and come back tomorrow if you like to hear some
Mhm.
magical improvs.
Yeah. Where Beth will be playing unfettered, and I will also be improvising with her vocally.
Yes,
Yes.
we
Thanks
love
for
you.
joining us.
Thank you so much.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye bye.